Greetings, fellow Earthlings. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of And Another Thing with Dave. I want to thank all of our listeners from all over the world. Please do subscribe and share if you're not already. All right, let's get into it. So, what do you think about idiots and indoctrination?
What? Idiots and indoctrination?
Idiots, meaning like most of the people in the United States, I think, are complete idiots because we don't have a free college education system.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it created a nation full of idiots, right?
Mm.
And now we don't have any factory jobs. We don't have any jobs for all these idiots, but we got all these idiots. So what do we do, right?
That I have no idea. So, what do you think is your solution? You said free healthcare for everybody?
Well, I think we start grinding people up into dog food.
What?
Yeah, I think that would be a wonderful solution. Provide a lot of
For the
wonderful food for our beloved pets, and it would get rid of these pesky people that because we care more about our pets than we do about fellow humans, right?
right. So, where would you start?
So yeah, well, of course you start with the homeless people because we only care about rich people in the United States, right? So we just
Mm-hmm.
round up all the homeless people, we ground them up into dog and cat food, and then you
Okay,
could feel
okay. Well,
better about yourself.
honestly speaking, you seem very upset and
I am.
disappointed in the state of the United States. Why so much passion?
Yeah, well, I feel totally let down, disappointed,
Tell me about it.
sidelined.
Why are you personally disappointed?
Um, yeah, because I'm 53 and I'm the working poor
Mm,
with
that
no
is
health care and a
frustrating.
bad back.
Yeah, that's kind of frustrating.
Yeah,
Um,
beyond.
do
And
you,
then you
do
see
you,
systems put in place that keep that going, and it's like and it just seems like a lot of people don't see the big picture that
right,
these systems are put in place kind of on purpose.
of course.
You know,
Do you feel like you don't have much option? Like you're sort of stuck in this place?
yes and no. I mean, I'm a pretty smart guy, so
Mm-hmm.
there's always options. We can always create change.
Right.
Um, I'm a firm believer in manifestation and the power of manifestation.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but but that's like first world luxury right there, right?
Yeah.
That's some white privilege shit right there, right? Because who among us right
Right.
now can sit back and think like, what do I really want to do? What do I really want to be? Right? Like most of
Mm-hmm.
us are trying to
Mm-hmm.
pay rent,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So
Well,
you know,
what if I ask you that question? What do you want to be? What do you hope for yourself in the next, I don't know, 5 years?
to be an author, doing a book tour, and speaking with people in public on the regular.
Oh wow, that's a
So I
lot.
want to be on radio.
Mm-hmm.
I've got 3 book ideas. I want to change the world,
Wow.
and I want to talk to people about how we can do it together.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, but it,
See,
but if
so
it's, but if it, but you get it's man, it's hard to stay positive and hard to stay focused in this world with these things coming at you
yeah.
at, at the pace that they are. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I feel like for the past, I guess, year or two, life has just been throwing everything at us, and
For real,
it's
like we're
hard.
dartboards, kind of. Oh man,
Yeah, we're like treading
for
water
real.
at this point, and
Yeah,
I'm running out of energy. Um,
yeah, and we're the ones that are like mentally strong or whatever. Our brothers and
mhm,
sisters that weren't so strong going in,
mhm,
they're not
mhm.
doing so great right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I know of a
It's
friend
crazy.
who appears put together on the outside. Like he has his house paid for, he has a wife, they both work, they have a kid on the way, like they're stable. On the outside, they look very stable. And
On the
so I
outside.
kind of, yeah, I didn't talk to him um, as much during this whole shutdown thing. And I recently contacted him again, and he had told me that he was actually admitted into a psychiatric ward because he was
Wow.
breaking down.
He's losing his shit.
He
Wow.
was
And this
losing
is
it.
somebody, this is somebody you're looking at like, wow, Mr. Stable, right?
Mr. has
Yeah.
his shit together. Mr. I
Right.
don't have
So,
to worry about him, but he
right.
had
So
it
I
the
got a similar
hardest.
story, right? Like I'm
hmm
53. My brother's 10 years older. One of his best friends, right?
Yeah,
Early 60s. This was a few years ago. So the guy was early 60s, maybe late 50s, early 60s, right in there, right?
yeah.
Owned his house, yada, 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 two kids, loved
hmm
his wife, loves his kids, fucking blew his brains out. All freaked out about finances.
Whew. And that's the thing, we've become so dependent on monetary things, on
Right.
money and
Oh,
having
yeah.
things and being able to afford things and like it's very hard to live without money these days, but I hate that that is our goal, is to
Well,
collect
I, I
things that give us
I
value.
so agree with you because we need it to exist, right? But I hate the
Mhm.
like, oh, I want a mini McMansion on the golf course. Why?
Right.
Because you were
Right.
programmed to think that that means you're happy.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
I want a new shiny car, even if I have to make a $450 monthly payment. Like, no, don't do a car
Yeah.
payment. No.
The worst idea possible.
Oh my God. I had this friend. She's a caretaker, so she's not making bank, right? She's not stacking cash.
Mhm.
and and her car takes a dump on her and she has to do something in an emergency, and I'm like, okay, let me help. I bought a bunch of cars, I'll help you out, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
She went to the dealership. I'm like, don't know, you never go to the dealership,
Oh my
you
God.
know.
Yeah.
And then she got emotional, she fell in love with the car, and she walked out of there with a $350 plus tax monthly car payment. Like, wow.
Oh
And this is somebody who has housing instability,
my.
is on
Mhm.
food stamps. Like, are
My
you
goodness.
kidding me, girl? What are you doing? What did you
Yeah.
just do?
You don't have
You
money
just
to
set yourself
waste.
up. Then she got her
Mhm.
car repoed because she couldn't make the payments. And I'm talking to her, and she's like, "Oh, I got to give them $1,800 to get my car back." I'm like, "Girl, you got to let
Mhm.
it go. You
Yeah.
could take that 1,800 and pay for a car cash." But she
Mhm.
couldn't hear me. She's like, "No, no, I love my car. I got to get my car back." Like, it's
Right.
not
Right.
your car.
No, it
You didn't
doesn't.
pay for it yet.
Right. And that's what I don't like about the Western world. So I was born in Africa, and in
Oh,
Africa,
cool.
there's no loans. You don't owe anybody. There's no such thing. People don't really use
For real?
credit cards as often. Yeah.
For real?
So you either have money or you don't. And
Or you
every
don't. I will
home, yeah. So
girl,
every
check this
home,
out, girl. That's how it was when I grew up, right? Like you would
yeah.
look around your neighborhood, and only a couple people had new cars. Most
Right.
people had old ass cars,
Yep.
and you could tell the kind of money somebody made by what they
Mm-hmm.
drove, because there
Exactly.
nobody was making car payments. You had to pay it cash.
Exactly. And every single home that someone lived in has been paid in full because they own
Yep,
it. There's no mortgage, there's no borrowing, there's nothing like that.
that
But
is
over
so cool.
here, it's just like our
It's
lives
crazy.
are just, steeped in debt, and it's normal to have like thousands and thousands of dollars in debt.
Yeah, I told somebody that I had $4,000 in debt, and they're like, "Oh, dude, that's nothing." I'm like, "What?"
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that to me, that's like it's insane. It's yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to pay it off because it makes me uncomfortable,
Exactly. But
and I
no,
don't
this
ever want
is
that
our
again. That's somebody with
society.
That's somebody that's got something over me, and I don't like that.
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
know, man,
And it seems almost
I
like,
did not know that about
yeah,
Africa. That's so cool.
yeah. So it's a different, I don't know, it's a totally different ball game over there. There's a lot more problems over there. Um, like the poor rich divide is humongous. I
Well,
kind
yeah,
of
but we could
like,
talk about that. We could talk
yeah.
about that. I think the U.S., France, the UK, they created that, right?
Mhm.
By imperialism, by sucking the wealth out of Africa, right? The De
Mhm.
Beers family, man, they own all
Yeah.
the diamond mines,
Yeah.
and they're from frickin' the Netherlands or some
Yep.
shit.
Yep. I agree.
So, you know,
I
if
totally
I was,
agree.
I'd be like, I'm sorry, I kicked the De Beers family off the continent, and we're going to repossess those diamond mines. F
Yeah.
you, they're ours,
Yeah.
right?
That's the thing that
So,
I'm really frustrated with Africa is that I don't think people or Africans don't really see the value in Africa itself.
well,
Like,
nobody does,
yeah,
because
yeah,
I was brainwashed to think that there was nothing there, right? All my
mm-hmm,
childhood, all my
yeah,
books, everything. I was never
yeah.
taught about kings and queens of ancient Africa. You know what? You know what they even taught us? That
Oh, I'm afraid to
Egypt,
ask.
Egypt almost didn't even seem like it was in Africa, right? Because
Wow.
they didn't tell me that, but they never
Mm-hmm.
did tell me that Egypt is in Africa,
Right,
right? It was
right.
always like, oh, we got these poor, we got these ignorant natives over here in Africa, and then
Yeah.
oh, we got Egypt. It's like, motherfucker,
Mm-hmm.
that's the same place.
It's yeah, it's literally the same thing.
Yes,
That's why there's a huge divide of between like Northern Africa and pretty much like the rest of Africa because they consider themselves Middle Eastern. And yes,
I
to a
feel
certain
so lucky
degree
to
they
talk with
are,
you right
but
now.
what's that?
I feel so lucky to talk with you right now because
Oh,
I'm so
I
passionate
love
about
this.
this.
This is
Because
great.
I was going off about the US, right? But we could go off
Mm-hmm.
about some world shit because the US is fucking up the whole world with what we're doing.
Yeah. My
Um,
goodness. I live in
and
Canada and Canada is awful. It's been really
is it?
bad. Yeah, it's kind of
Gotcha.
depressing because we always say, oh, one of the greatest things about Canada is we have great access to healthcare, and healthcare is fantastic over here, and it's free. But
Right.
there's a catch, right? And because it's free, it
Right.
means
Okay.
everybody's accessible. It's
Uh-huh.
accessible to everyone, right? And
Yeah.
it's just now that we're moving to vaccinate people in their 30s, and we won't be vaccinating people that are younger for a very long time. And the list is so
Wow.
long.
And those are the super
Priority,
spreaders, right?
yeah. And like
Those are the
groups
people that
that,
are out mingling, bar hopping, going to spring
mm-hmm,
break, right?
mm-hmm, exactly. The ones that are spreading it. We are
Yeah.
currently in our third wave, and there's no end in sight at all.
Yeah.
Um, we don't produce any of our own vaccines, and so we have to depend on people sending them over, which everybody's being stingy, which is
That's
understandable.
that's crazy.
It's insane. And so they're
That's
extending
insane
the,
to me.
yeah, so the Ministry of Health is going against the manufacturers of the vaccine and are
Good. Fuck 'em.
extending, well, no, not really. They're extending the time between the first and second dose. So
Oh,
Pfizer, for
what?
example, yeah, Pfizer, for example,
I thought you meant they
recommends,
were going against the manufacturers and going to make their own vaccine. I was
oh
like, oh,
no,
sweet, yeah.
no, well, they are trying. There are some companies here that are trying, but we're so far behind that by the time it comes out, it's going to be
Because
pointless.
because I just read that's a thing too, right? So Pfizer, Johnson, all these companies, they want to keep their patent. They want to keep
Hmm.
their royalties. They want to make money.
Oh, for sure, for
So
sure.
the World Health Organization is going, hey, wait a minute, we got to forego the patent laws right now. We're in a worldwide
Hmm.
pandemic. And
Yep.
these companies are going, well, wait a minute. Like,
Hmm.
no. So, so the US is not helping. The
No.
US could step in and be like Pfizer, Moderna, Johnson and Johnson, you're doing it for free.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Yeah.
Done. They could do
Because
that
it's
with a
a world
signature, but we're not
crisis.
doing it. It's a freaking world crisis. But guess
Yeah.
what? We care more about profit than we do
Mhm.
about people, though.
Mhm. And
I mean,
that's
there
the
it
part
is.
that
Right?
really bothers me. It's
Me
awful.
too.
It's
Me
really, really
too.
awful.
It's immoral. It's
Mhm.
immoral, right? I'm not a religious person, but I know right
Oh,
and
neither
wrong.
am I. Yeah.
You know, my
Mhm.
father was a
Mhm.
minister, so I saw the hypocrisy in the church like early on.
Oh my God, we have so many topics to talk about. Because I
Like,
was raised Christian and the
for real.
hypocrites raised me.
Oh, well, check this out, girl. So by the time I was 5, I saw the
Mhm.
hypocrisy, and I told my dad he had to pay me to go to church,
Oh,
and 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 he was okay with that. He paid me to go to
what?
church.
Wow.
By the time by the time I was 9, I'm like, you know what? The money's not worth it. These people are full of shit. I'm not
Mhm.
going.
Mhm.
He
Good for
he
you.
he threw me in the car, drove me to church, but I refused to get out of the car. I'm like holding on to the front seat, and I would not let go. I'm like kicking him and screaming and shit.
My
Would
goodness.
not go. And so he had to leave me. He had to leave me in the car. Like I was like a pain
Right.
in the ass. I was that kid. So he had to leave
My
me in the
God.
car. That was the last time I've ever been to church. 9 years old. I'm like, nope. I saw that guy say this thing, and then I saw him out in society, and he totally did the opposite. He's a two-faced piece of shit.
Wow.
And I was 9, and I got that right.
9. That's impressive.
So, so anybody that's still bowing to that and buying that whole thing, like, hey, whatever. If it keeps you from killing people, awesome.
Yeah.
Go to church.
Yeah.
You
Totally.
know.
Totally. If you're a more righteous person and you're nicer and what by all means you do you. But it's
You
the
do you.
hypocrites that are judgmental and are saying, well, you
Thank you.
can't be gay, you can't abort that child, you can't do this, you can't do
I'm
that. And it's
sorry,
like,
but
ooh,
if we think Jesus was a real person, he hung out with gay people and hookers. He probably
mm-hmm.
smoked weed. We
Oh,
know he
yeah.
drank wine, and we know
Mm-hmm.
he didn't judge motherfuckers, and he accepted everybody.
Period.
So I think he was just like I call Jesus the original hippie, the OH,
Oh,
right?
probably.
Right?
Probably. Mm-hmm.
Exactly,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I bet that
I agree.
pisses religious people off, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But
Like,
I picture Jesus with some dreads. He was probably black because he lived in the Middle East. So come on, he
oh,
wasn't white with
oh,
blue. He was
come
not
on,
white with blue eyes. So he was
come
probably
on.
a dreadhead sitting down at a drum circle.
Oh,
He
yeah.
probably played a mean guitar. He could probably play the
Maybe a
drums
bongo
too.
or two.
I bet he
Maybe
sang.
a
I
bongo.
bet he sang, and I bet he rolled a mean joint.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Right? That's my
But
Judas.
here is people like the people's depictions of Jesus is just not human at all. Like we're supposed to be made in the likeness of God, right? And that's what Christians
Yeah,
say. And so
right.
why would he be perfect? We're not perfect. No one on this planet is perfect. Why would he
Whoa, wait, wait,
be
wait, whoa, whoa. I want to slow your roll there for a minute. Perfect. He's a pale ass motherfucker that can't go out in the daylight for 10 minutes without some sunscreen.
Ah!
That ain't perfect. That ain't perfect. We live on Earth where there's sunshine. That ain't perfect.
Oh my God.
I need I need SPF like 95. That ain't perfect.
You need to tell me what chapter or what book it said Jesus was getting sunburns, 'cause now I'm invested.
I think that was the satanic button.
Oh my God. If God is real, I'm so screwed. I really
Yeah,
am.
yeah. God is within all of us, right? Good and
Yeah.
evil is within each
Right?
single person.
And so I feel
So
like if I was to
how are
be
you going to
the
do people? How are you going to treat people? That's all it is.
right. So I feel like if I was Christian, being myself is honoring God. That would probably be the best way I could represent God or make him happy is just to be myself. Whether I'm gay, whether I'm trans, whether I'm I don't know, black, white, Asian, whatever I choose to be is
Well,
to honor
well,
God.
well, if you even follow that train of thought through, you didn't choose to be that. God made you that.
Mm-hmm. See?
Bam.
Ooh.
Right? So if you're gonna believe that shit, then you gotta believe that shit.
Exactly.
God
And
created everything on earth,
realistically,
except for the gay
yes.
people, and except for
Mm-hmm.
this, and except for cockroaches, and except for mosquitoes.
Oh,
Like, no,
not
you can't.
spiders though.
You,
Fuck
yeah,
spiders.
you
Spiders
can't
can go
fucking
to
choose.
hell.
Oh, come on, spiders eat flies
I don't care.
and mosquitoes.
When I was younger, I can't remember how old I was. I was maybe about like 7 years old, and I saw this massive ass like spider. This was back home in Africa, and I lost
I was
my
gonna
shit.
say
And
you're
that's
talking a massive African spider, huh?
yes.
See now I'm scared. Now I'm like, kill it, kill it, kill it.
Exactly. See, that was the inception of the fear. And so I think it's totally valid. My
But I
life
wish I
was
could show you this.
threatened.
But I wish yeah, well, exactly. So that's a whole different reality from my reality. But I wish I could show you a picture because I got a friendly little spider living up in the corner of my room.
Oh
And
my gosh. Wait, is this a
he's
pet
just,
spider?
I don't know. It's got a web up there, and he just kind of chills up there. He or she, and I just kind of,
Oh,
it chills up
sir.
there, and I chill down here.
Ooh, I don't know about all that.
Like a couple dead things in the web and shit.
Oh no.
It's
No.
crawling around right now a little bit. It must have heard me talking about it.
Oh God,
But it's
oh my
harmless. I
skin
mean,
is
there's only
crawling.
like in the U.S., there's only like three kinds of spiders that can fuck you up, right? The brown recluse, the black widow,
Mm-hmm.
and the wolf spider. Beyond that, it's not even like a bee sting. Even for most people, 90% of people, a black widow bite is like a bee sting,
What?
unless you happen to be allergic to a black widow.
Oh,
But
fun fact, I've never been stung by a bee before.
that's you're lucky.
Why
It's not.
why is it that everybody has been stung by a bee except for me?
It's
Everybody
not.
I know
It's not.
has been
It's
stung.
not the end of the world, but it's not fun. Oh my god! So I was 5 years old once. I had this lollipop, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I take it out. I take it out of my mouth, and I'm like talking to somebody or something,
Yeah.
and three freaking yellow jackets landed on it, and then I put it back in my mouth,
Oh, Jesus.
and they all stung me in my tongue
Oh God.
like multiple times because yellow jackets they don't die, so they can just like they can sting you
Oh,
like
this is awful.
yeah. My tongue was like almost didn't fit in my face anymore.
Oh God. Yeah, you were 5. There wasn't much tongue to begin with.
Yeah, right.
Wait, so
Exactly.
what would you do to alleviate
Hey,
a
so
bee
ladies, if
sting?
you want to know, that's how it happened. Yeah, yeah. I owe it all to that bee
Oh
sting.
my God. Can you imagine if someone opens up a penis enlarging clinic and it's just like bees lined
Yep.
up ready to sting you?
40, 42 bee stings. Okay, bite this leather thing. Ah!
This is a business idea. I feel like we should
I was
patent this
just going to
before
say,
it gets stolen.
I think we just came up with $1 million idea.
I mean, hello.
And we offer it free to like corporate executives just because,
Ooh.
I would like to sting them in the cock for free.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. That would be
Oh.
perfect.
When I was in my 20s, I had these two roommates in San Francisco that were from Germany, from Hamburg, Germany, yeah. And
Ooh,
they were both
yeah.
dominatrixes. And
Whoa.
and I'm like, tell me about your job. And they're like,
Right.
okay. They're like, do you really want to hear? I'm like, fuck yeah, I want to hear about it. Are you kidding me? Like, right? I'm a curious motherfucker, and this is crazy. Like, what? Tell me.
Wow.
So these corporate pigs would hire them to treat them like a piece of garbage, right? Because imagine like the CEO of Bank of America
Wow.
or whatever, they're just bossing people around all day, right? But
Yeah.
their biggest fetish is to not be in control.
My
Isn't that
goodness.
true? So
That is
one of the guys,
trippy.
yeah. So one of the guys, and it gets creepy deep. Like one of the guys was like, I want you to do the mommy thing. I want to be a bad boy. And here's an overly ripe banana. I want you to squish this up and put it in this diaper, and then I'll wear the diaper. Like, what? You
No.
can't, what? Like,
This is full on
and these,
humiliation.
and yo, that's all it was. There was no sex. It was just humiliation. They would spit on them, walk on them in high heels, dig their
Oh my
heels into their
God.
back, whip them, piss on them.
I
No
kind of like
sex.
that. I
No,
kind of like
right?
it.
I'm like, you go, girl. How do I get a job doing this to like the CEO of Bank of
No,
America? Right? Because
I am
that's like my
so down.
fantasy gig. But I guess you got to be a
Oh
cute
my
chick.
God.
Kind of a
Oh
drag.
yeah, okay. So that's a negative for me.
Well, it's definitely a negative for me because I'm a not so cute dude. So guess I'm ass out right there. But fuck, can you believe that?
That
That's
is
real talk.
insane.
I'm like, this is absolute true story from the horse's mouth, from the dominatrix's mouth. I
Wow.
couldn't. The banana one blew me away. I couldn't believe it. I'm like,
That's insane.
ew,
And it's
that's
specific. You could tell he thought about it and he was like, "Oh no,
oh,
this is my
so much
time."
thought. And then it's like these are the people that are running our society and our businesses. They're
Mhm.
psychopaths.
They're
They're
insane
crazy.
people. Well, I mean, you can't get that powerful without being a little, sketchy.
Thank you for saying that.
Right?
I just watched a podcast that it was breaking down, and it was like any person that rises to the level of a billionaire,
Mhm.
Fortune 500 CEO, any of that level, like top of the level.
Oh, you're muted.
Sorry, I got a phone call.
It's okay.
They're sociopaths.
Oh, for
They
sure.
they do things to get ahead that could land them in jail, that would
Mhm.
ostracize them from society if they got caught, but they do
Yeah.
it because the end result is worth whatever by any means necessary, right?
Mm.
They
Yeah,
they they incorporate the fucking Malcolm X shit. Our corporations
for sure.
incorporate the Malcolm X ideal, but
Absolutely.
we,
Absolutely.
the freedom fighters, don't. Doesn't that
Mhm.
suck?
Yeah. It does. It totally
Yeah,
does.
like my whole life, the right wing has been assassinating leaders from the left,
Mhm.
and the left wing goes out and protests peacefully in the street and waves a flag.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so one of them has snipers, and the other
Mhm.
one has like a flag and a banner.
Flags.
Who's
Mhm.
gonna win?
I'm betting on the flags, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, well, the flags if they pick up sniper rifles eventually.
Right.
Yeah, by any
Oh
means
my
necessary.
God.
By any means necessary.
Absolutely.
Yeah, fight
So I
fire with
don't
fire.
I don't really trust anybody who has a lot of power. Like
No.
a lot of people were really
Oh my
happy
God, we
with
have a message.
Obama. Oh, we do.
Can I
Oh,
play it?
yeah, go ahead.
Okay, hold that thought though, Obama.
Okay.
What's up, Dave? How you doing, Lola? Worm C. Bro, I had a dark day today, and the reason I'm commenting is because it's very involved with this. Like, I get, like, I'm pretty sure that me and Dave differ in some things when it comes to the politics, but, like, I get everything he's feeling right now about being sidelined and left behind. I'm a little younger, but I'm still at this point. Like Dave knows me. Dave knows I do music. I also paint. I do lots of creative things, and I've never been set in a position to get paid for that. So it's always just been blah blah blah. The stuff I love never makes me money, and so now I'm at this point where I'm gonna have to fucking get off my ass and go work for some asshole and barely make enough to not get kicked out of wherever I'm living. So yeah, I feel you, dude.
Wow, that was really sad.
Wow. Worm C, do we still have anybody in? Is he still here?
I
Hope you're
don't
still here,
know.
Worm. Um, if you're still listening, Worm, bro, sending you a digital hug, bro, because I'm right there with you, man. Right there
Mm-hmm.
with you. The most I've ever made
Absolutely.
for doing my art is like $100 divided by 4, and that was our
Oh,
best gig.
yikes.
Best gig ever. Most times it was 2 free beers, right? So
Oh,
you bust your ass, write a bunch of lyrics, practice 4 days a week for 2 hours a time, like
to
a
get
full-on
nothing.
part-time job for 10 years. Hey, come on down, do it for free. We'll give you 2 free beers. Awesome.
Oh my God,
And
that's
then,
awful.
and I totally feel him. He's an amazing rapper. Worm is, he's what I call a machine gun rapper. He's a cunning linguist.
I
He
love rap. I
he can move his
love
fucking
rap.
lips faster than I can even think. It's like, what the fuck, bro? Like, how do you do that? I can sing like a motherfucker. This guy,
Oh,
wow.
oh, you didn't have to tell me that. Now
But
I need something. Now I need a sample. You can't just throw that out. Like, come on.
uh-oh. All right, what do you want me to sing?
Ooh, God, I don't know. Ooh, do you know any Luther Vandross?
I don't. He's like the king of smooth too. He's like
He
the panty
is.
dropping king. So I should know a Luther song, right?
You should know a
Because
Luther
I'm
song.
single. But damn, I don't.
That's the way to a woman's heart is Luther Vandross.
Right? But he's got that like,
um,
ooh,
ooh, yes.
yeah, right? Super buttery smooth, right? That's his
Okay,
thing, right?
that was not bad. Oh my. Okay, you choose. Sing me your favorite song.
Um, oh,
Hmm. Okay.
I'm still alive. Alive by Pearl Jam.
Oh my God. Yes. Oh my God. That was incredible. I was not expecting that at all. I was like, what? That took me off guard. Wow. That was
Off
really
guard's good.
impressive. So, wow. So, how long have you been singing? Or how long?
Since I was 5.
Wow. Since the bee sting.
Um, yeah, no, I mean, I grew up, my mom was singing like slave songs in the kitchen. You know, I've been working on the railroad, shit like that.
Yeah.
Um, so I grew up just knowing that shit and loving like the fucking and chiming in with harmonies, you know, because I got 3 brothers and sisters and a dad. Well, used to have a dad. Um, Hospital killed him. Lucky traveling nurses. But
What? Wait,
yeah,
what?
yeah, hospital killed my dad like 13 years ago.
Oh my God, I am so sorry.
Thanks.
Wait, oh, if you don't mind me asking, what happened?
He went in for a minor heart procedure that my sister's ex-husband does 10 times a day without, he's never lost somebody. He's been doing it for 20 years.
Yeah.
So my dad went in for that procedure, should have gone home the same day. Some cunt traveling nurse whore that did not know the hospital gave him too much of a blood thinner, and he had high blood pressure, so instantly gave him a stroke and put him in a coma. Then she came back and at 2 hours later gave him more blood thinner and sealed the deal.
No. Oh no. Oh
Yeah,
no.
I could kill that fucking person.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
And it's our system, right? Like, why do you have traveling nurses? Oh, it's a great job. I get to go live in Hawaii, then California, and you got to learn a new hotel, new hospital, and a new
Every single
procedure
time.
every fucking time. It's ridiculous. It shouldn't be a thing. Like your car
Oh
gets
my
more continuation of service than you do at the hospital. Crazy. When you bring your car for an oil change, it stays with the same fucking person.
God. Exactly.
I saw my dad get 7 different fucking nurses after the whore that killed him.
Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry. Oh my God, that's awful.
So our whole system is broken. Everything about our system's broken. They don't care about people. It's all about profit. All about profit first. And then, you know, chiming into what Worm was saying. If you're over
Mm-hmm.
35, yeah, fuck you. I don't care about your art. There's somebody pretty
Yeah.
doing something, right?
Right. Wow. That is awful. And I'm a very ones and zero type of person. Like I'm not artistic at all. There's not an artistic bone in my body. And I'm so envious of people that can just express themselves in an art form and something that comes natural to them. Like you don't have to learn how to paint. Some people are
So,
just born with natural talent and they
so
can
Worm
live
and I
off
are
of
those
that,
people. Worm and I
which
are
is
those people, right?
impressive.
He paints. He does. He writes lyrics. He's an amazing
Mhm.
deliverer through rap. He makes
Mhm.
beats. Blah, 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 on and on and on and on and on. I sing. I love photography. I love doing graphic design. I make beats.
Yeah.
I got 3 books in me, but
Mhm.
our society doesn't support he and I. We have to go work for some asshole in
Right.
some shitty job that's going to suck the life out of us. And then after 40 hours of doing that, are you going to be inspired to create your art? Really?
Yeah.
Are you? No, you're
Absolutely
not.
not.
You're going to fucking grab a 6-pack and go back and do it again. And that's what they want. That's
Mhm.
what they want.
Art is
Because
subjective, and it's very hard for people to be united when it comes to art because, like, for
it is,
example,
but it
let's
isn't, right?
okay,
Like
yeah.
everybody at a concert is united, but that's the same. Everybody's into that same artist, right? So when you talk
Mhm.
about art, it's like we all love art, but
Right.
it's very personal.
It's extremely personal.
Very personal. I mean,
And like
it's like religion or sex. Like there's nothing
for
more
sure
personal than the art that you like. And if I say the art that you like
sucks.
sucks, you'll
Yeah.
be like, "Fuck you, asshole."
Yeah, it
Are you
stings.
saying I have no value? Like I have no taste? Like fuck you, right? That
Right.
that would be the biggest insult if I said,
Oh, for
"Oh,
sure.
the art that you like is horrible." Like what?
Mhm.
And who am I to say that? It's just my
Yeah.
perception. All I have is my perception.
Mhm.
So I can't talk about your perception because I can't see that, right?
Right. Right.
I'm literally blind to it. I can imagine what it's like, but that's
Mhm.
me going into fantasy mode and
Right.
intuition and blah, 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 right?
Mm.
Wow, you're awesome.
I'm what?
You're awesome. You inspire me
Oh.
to think.
Oh.
And that's, you're an awesome human being.
Oh my God. Wow. I don't think anybody has ever said that. That is insane. Thank you. You're
Yeah.
awesome.
Tell your parents they did a hell of a job.
Well, they did a pretty shitty job, in my opinion. In my
Okay, well, then you made
opinion.
up for it. Then you made up for it. And somebody did something somewhere.
Thank you. Thank you. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
no,
just like to I don't know. This is just me, I guess. I actually thought at some point in my life that I was a very bad person, and I
we
don't
all
know,
can be. We all have that
mhm,
potential, right?
absolutely. But I thought the core and my entire being was to be bad. And
Hell no. You could
it,
choose what you want to be.
right? And
Like you could be a serial killer or you could be a saint.
right.
Choice is yours.
And it was ingrained in my head from pretty young. I think it's because of the way my mom sort of treated me, and we're not going to get into that, but
Oh, I'm sorry, that sucks. I
yeah.
had the opposite. I was always told like you could be president, which, is kind of a curse because now I'm one of these guys that's like I just want to do my art and
Mhm.
people are going to appreciate me for my art. Like no, dude, get a fucking job.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know.
Go work at a place that you don't enjoy and is taxing on your mental health and
Yeah.
physical health in some cases.
Yeah. Like I bitched to my brother and he's like, dude, I've never had a job that fed my soul. I always do that
Mhm.
after work. I'm like, okay.
Okay, well, that's your choice.
Yeah,
You
your
are
choice.
choosing to do that.
Right, but he tells me, like, get over it, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
you're living in a fucking utopia. And I'm like, well, fuck, I'm trying to create utopia. But if we don't try to
Yeah.
create it, it'll never exist, right?
Period.
So
Period.
there we go. So if we don't start the revolution, will it
Mm-hmm.
be televised? I don't know.
Right.
I don't think so.
Right. I
You know,
think you're very brave for taking control of your life because everybody else just kind of goes with the flow and is like, well, I'm supposed to do X, Y, and Z at this point in my life. Therefore, that's what I'm going to do at all costs. But I admire you for taking that time to just be like, no, what am I meant to do for me? What is in my best interest? Not in the best interest of society or my parents or my brother or whoever. What is in the best interest of me? And what is
but you
going to
know what I
give
almost
me.
think about what my calling
Hmm.
is
Oh, I want to
what's in
hear
the
this.
best interest of society. Like I was told by this Intuit chick that I met in Ashland, Oregon, that
Hmm.
I'm a yellow light warrior and I'm meant to lead us into the next revolution.
Wow.
So
Okay,
I
so
I
so
took that
you
serious.
you believe in a
Like
destiny.
that's a
You
lot of
believe that,
responsibility, right?
right? You believe you're
So
destined for something.
I don't know about all that. Kinda. I mean, I feel kind of like that.
I totally agree. I do. I sort of
Without
think that
without
my.
trying to sound egotistical, right? Because I'm super insecure at the
Oh
same
yeah,
time. But
yeah.
I do feel like, yeah, I'm supposed to do something here. You know, I'm here for a
Hmm.
fucking reason,
Right. And even if you aren't, there's no harm in actually doing something, you know,
right?
and sort
But
of
no, I
putting
am.
yourself
I,
out
I
there.
so I took a half gram of mushrooms and I went and sat on top of a mountaintop by myself,
Hmm.
and I was like, universe, tell me what is my purpose,
Right.
and I got an answer. First,
Wow.
first I realized there's nothing different between me and a blade of grass or the
Mm.
ant crawling on that blade of grass. I'm like, wow, what's up? We're all the same. This is
Right.
amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Had that amazing epiphany, and that was life changing. But then I had this download that my purpose is to make people laugh or smile.
Wow.
Just that simple.
I like that.
Yeah. And
That
then
is
I
awesome.
and then I want to weave into that, making them laugh or smile while telling them a brutal truth that they don't want to hear,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Like the shit we've been talking about. Because otherwise,
Exactly.
if you just tell people shit that makes them laugh and smile, are you changing anything? Right?
No,
You
not
making
really.
you making anything better? Not really, huh?
Yeah.
So I don't want to just be happy hour entertainment, you know.
Mm. Yeah.
I don't want to just be the
Wow.
dancing, singing monkey. You know, look at me. I'll
Mhm.
make you laugh and
Mhm.
smile.
But you are very giving in the sense that, I mean, just thinking that your purpose is to, I don't want to use the word serve, but to help other people is very admirable.
Well, to help some, but definitely
Hmm.
to do the opposite to helping some. Right?
Right. Yeah.
Like full on revolution. I don't mean some Martin Luther King like pie in the sky
Hmm.
Gandhi type shit. I mean like real ass revolution.
Right. I
And
mean, whatever it takes.
it's never pretty and it's always bloody.
Oh, for sure.
And it always brings change. And if we look at
Hmm.
history, Gandhi created some change.
Hmm. Hmm.
Martin Luther King created some change. But it was
Yeah.
the people that put themselves on the front lines of those marches that took those billy clubs and maybe
Right.
even swung back that made the change,
Right.
right?
Right.
So you could sit on a pulpit and talk all fucking day long. That's not going to do shit. Get in the streets like Martin did and Malcolm did.
Hmm.
That brings change.
Right.
And like BLM did, like Occupy did, right? We came so close with both of those movements, but they
Hmm.
both got snuffed out,
Oh my God.
you know? And they were both really the same thing. society
Mhm.
reached a boiling point where it was
Yep.
fed up with this oppressive regime keeping a cap on shit.
Yeah.
A, financial, and B, oppression and just murdering us in the streets. And it's
Mhm.
really tied to the same thing, the financial
Oh yeah.
oppression.
Oh
It
yeah.
all goes back to the
Absolutely.
money.
Mhm.
So it really is all tied to Occupy.
Yeah.
You know?
Wow. We've touched on a lot of topics in this
You
conversation.
think?
Oh my god. We
I know,
literally
right?
went all around the world. I like it. That's awesome. I feel like I have a different perspective on things. I think I need to take more control of my life and sort of do things that make me happy. And
I'm going to start doing that. I'm going to start microdosing mushrooms to try to solve my own depression. I'm serious. I just
save
did
some for me.
I just did a bunch of research on that earlier today.
I did see a documentary about microdosing hallucinogens in general and like, hardcore drugs. And there were a lot, there was a lot of insight because like I said, growing up Christian, I was very sheltered, and
Hmm.
my perspective on anything, even like weed, is like, oh my God, that will kill me or it'll send me to hell.
Oh, I'm
And to
smoking weed right
hear
now.
that, so am I. Oh God. Anyway, so to hear that there are benefits to it is unfathomable. Like it's insane.
We're in a new era. We're in a new
Mhm.
era, and this is something that I'm a super intuitive person. Right? I've got a crazy sense of intuition. Like with certain partners I've had, like
Mhm.
we could communicate distantly. Like we would tell each other to call each other and be like, "Oh, dude, you just told me to call you, huh?" Yep. Like, whoa,
Wow, that is insane.
crazy, right?
Wow.
So I get these messages sometimes, and that's the best way I can say it.
Mm.
Um, like a download of truth, right?
Mm.
And one of the things I've
And
known
is
for
it
the
is it
longest time is
yeah.
that psychedelics are a portal to give us communication to beings in other dimensions that we cannot see on our day-to-day life. Because just like our
Mm.
hearing, right? We hear from 20,000 hertz to 40 hertz. But
Very
there's so many
limited.
more sounds. Like a dog can
Yeah.
hear so much more than we can hear. Like a dog whistle, you
Mhm.
don't hear it. So
Yeah. Yeah.
imagine the visual equivalent of that. There's all kinds of
Mhm.
stuff literally existing right in front of us right now that we just can't see.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. We can't see, we can't feel, we can't taste,
Right. Whole other dimensions.
we can't interact with.
Or can we? But then we're
Mhm.
given these tools that allow us a
Mhm.
portal to interact it on a limited basis at least, right? But
Mhm.
I've
Mhm.
communicated with other beings.
Mm. Oh,
I don't
really?
I don't know who or what the fuck they were, but I talked to them.
In what state? Were you asleep?
Oh
Was
no,
this
I
a
was on Salvia
dream?
divinorum,
Oh.
one of the most potent psychedelics, right? And I
Mm.
believe it's still legal. You can get it at head shops. And
I believe so.
you take one puff of this stuff, and it transports you to another dimension, literally. And
So, do you feel immersed in this environment that you're in? Like, are your senses
oh
aware
yeah,
of your
no,
surrounding?
yeah,
Wow.
your ego totally dissolves. So there was no Dave. I didn't exist, and I'm just observing.
Wow.
I'm just like atoms floating through space, right? No body,
Mm.
no nothing, no identity. Like, but I
Very
wasn't afraid.
interesting.
But I wasn't afraid, right?
Right.
It was weird. I went in. with friends, a guardian that was 6'8" that I trust with my life. So I went in, you got to do it in the right setting. Set and setting,
Yeah.
right? Set and
Yeah.
setting is everything for psychedelics. So I did, I took care of the foundation, and that was all good. So I went in with the best possible mindset. And, but what I saw was the end of the world, literally the end of the world.
Right.
Charred
The
remains
end
of
of our world.
buildings, of the entire world, of Earth. Like the end of humanity. Not the end of the world, right? Because the planet will continue. It always does. But it'll shake us off like fleas, right?
Right,
Um,
right, right.
yeah, so it was hardcore. And somebody told me they'd never seen somebody stand up and walk on this stuff. I got up, ran a zigzag pattern to go out through two different doors, and ran out to the front of my flat in San Francisco so I could look at what I was seeing in my head, because I was seeing the buildings across the street, but just charred remains of them. Like, like an earthquake and fire just happened. So I'm
Right,
like,
right,
oh my
right.
fucking God. And it was so realistic. I had to go and look. And I went and looked, and I'm still seeing the same thing. I'm physically standing there looking, and I'm still seeing the same thing.
Wow.
Mind blow. Mind blow. Then my friend reaches out to touch me, and it was like he reached through a balloon. I could see his fingers permeate this balloon that was surrounding me, my little reality bubble, I guess. And his fingers came. Imagine if you took a balloon and just poked your fingers, like with an open hand, poked your fingers into the balloon, and then you looked at that from the inside of the balloon. That's what I was seeing.
Wow.
And as soon as he touched my shoulder, I was like, bam, back to reality. And then I cussed him out. I'm like, motherfucker, oh my God, I was having an experience. Why'd you do that? Why'd you stop it?
Wow. This is insane.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have so many questions.
So then I did it again to see, right?
If you could go back
And I did.
to the same place,
Exact thing.
or like the same. Oh,
Yep.
wow. Was it so? It wasn't the same experience, but it was the same people,
Same
same
place.
environment.
No
Right.
people. Yeah. There was no people. I was like the only human left on Earth. And I wasn't even on Earth. I was
Okay.
just like viewing it like a movie.
Wow. Oh, wow. So, how many times since then did you try it again? Like, was this
Just those times.
like
Just those
just
two.
those 2 times? Okay.
Back to
Because
back
I'm
that
wondering.
one day.
Oh, I see. Okay, okay. So it wasn't on 2 separate days.
No, it was bam. I went right back because I was like so bummed that he interrupted my trip. I'm like, oh my God, I got to go back. Let me try this again. And they're like, what? he's like, what? I don't know if you could do that. I'm like, I'm trying.
Right. Wow. This is incredible.
Yeah.
Because I've never tried any sort of like psychedelics, or I just smoke weed. That's about it. And even then,
Well,
that's like
I think
too much for me.
everybody should start their journey into this, if with research first of all, right? And
Oh,
you want
for
to make sure you want to make sure you don't have a heart condition, you don't have
yeah.
a family like tendency for, there's no family history of schizophrenia, anything like that, right? So do your research first, right? Because it's not just a walk in the park, and
Yeah.
it's not always just fun. You're going to learn a lot, but it's not always fun,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
I'm
This is
honestly
not a
my
party. This is an
my
exploration.
right. My
It's
ideal
different.
situation would be in a sort of like a clinical facility, or like
Oh, that would be
um
horrible for the first time.
really?
Oh my God.
I
Unless,
feel like
well,
it would be
it could be
comforting.
done right, but I think the way to do it is like, a small dose, half gram or less, and just go be out in nature.
Mm.
I think that's the way to initiate, because nature is everything. Nature's everything. It's
Well,
got your
so.
back. It's going to teach you. You're going to learn. You're going to come into contact with it. You're going to be able to communicate with trees, for fuck's sake.
Hmm. I feel like if it was me, because I'm not one with nature at all. Like nature is, I don't know why, but we just don't get along. Um, so I feel like if I was to be out in nature, going through that kind of an experience,
What about, like,
I
is
would
there like
feel
a nice
nervous.
park where you live? Like a chill park where you could just see yourself hanging out all day?
Uh, no, not really. My home would be the only place that I could see myself
Okay.
hanging
Well,
out all
so
day.
so so like I'm saying, it's different for everybody. So maybe you're the type, you get a couple awesome funny movies, maybe one like a mind bender kind of movie and one funny one. So you could go
Hmm.
either way, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And then go that way. Or what else works is guaranteed, just put on some Pink Floyd. Guaranteed.
Mm.
Guaranteed. Pink Floyd, lights on, lights off, totally different experience. Two different experiences right there with the same band. Oh my god.
Right.
Pink Floyd lights on, one experience with white walls, like, oh my god, look at all the rainbows. And if that gets to be too much, turn the lights off, and you're like, wow, then you go into your head. Sometimes that gets to be too much. You don't want to be in your head. Turn the light on,
Mm.
then you look at something, you're like, oh, look at that. You're out of your head.
Wow.
It's that easy.
So,
But
so it
you got
seems,
to have a coach, right? You got to have somebody that's been through it, that
yeah, someone
knows.
who's experienced, yeah.
Right.
You
Because
can't
like,
have like a
because I
noob trying this for
Yeah,
the first
because
time with you.
because the only thing a bad trip is like somebody in the wrong environment,
Yeah,
or you went too deep in your head and you didn't have your bro to be like, hey buddy, dude, let's watch this comedy, you know,
right.
and that's all it would have taken. It's just, oh, shift, oh yeah, comedy, but
Mm.
sometimes it gets dark.
Wow,
Like sometimes I cried myself to sleep if I've done it by myself. Right?
really? So
Oh yeah,
yeah, it does.
sometimes it gets horribly dark. But it's all about, once again, set and setting. Like, what is your set? What is the mindset that you're going into
Hmm.
it with? And
Yeah.
then what is the environment that you're in? So if your mindset isn't good, don't do it. You only want to do the
Mm.
shit when you're happy. Like sometimes it's good for exploratory shit, but warning, you might cry
Yeah.
yourself to sleep. You'll figure some shit
Right.
out, but it's not going to be a walk in the park.
Hmm. Very
Powerful stuff, man.
interesting.
And I mean, I've pretty much tried every psychedelic I could get my hand on, except for, you know, um, angel dust, which kind of scares
Mm.
me.
And
So
why does it scare you? Is it?
just because I've seen people that have done it and it changes them, they're slower afterwards.
I see. Okay, so
Yeah,
it seems like it leaves lasting effects.
seems like there might be a lasting effect. So I'm not down with
Okay.
that.
Okay. Yeah,
Not
me
down
neither.
with that. But I've tried
Yeah.
mescaline, ketamine, psilocybin, blotter LSD, and I was able to get the pure liquid LSD. You know the movie? What's that? What the hell is that movie? Breaking Bad, or the show,
Yeah.
right? Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
one of the guys that was involved with that
Yeah.
um, was a chemist. So they don't talk about this in the show, but one of the guys that was involved with that guy was this chemist from Palo Alto, and he was making everything you can imagine. He was making like Grateful
Oh,
Dead acid, right?
wow.
Like super pure, ultra pure liquid LSD. He was providing the Grateful Dead with it, and a bunch of other bands.
Wow.
I was able to get a hold of some of this. At that point, I'd tried LSD probably 65 times, right? By doing blotter,
Hmm.
a piece of paper.
Yeah.
And when you do
Yeah.
blotter, you never know what the hell it is. It's,
Hmm.
there could be chemicals and cut, and so sometimes you would cramp up and have a horrible reaction, like physically. Like, what the hell
I
is
see.
that? Why is my back spasming? Like, what is going on?
Right.
Because
Right.
strychnine, like rat poison, was used as a cut in some of it.
Oh my
Literally.
God, that's awful.
Yeah. Yeah. But so when I
Jesus.
tried this pure liquid stuff, like normally when you take
There's
a piece
none
of
of that.
paper, it was completely different. It was like apples and oranges, mind blowing, right? So normally when you take one of these, just whatever piece of paper, put it on your tongue, you have no idea what it is. You hope
Yeah.
the chemist knew what he was doing and cared about you, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
And there's no fillers.
right, right. You're just hoping all that. And it
Mm-hmm.
usually takes 45 minutes to come on, and the first sign that it's coming on is your stomach gets all wiggly and you feel super queasy, and you're like, ooh, do I have to shit? Oh God, I just don't feel comfortable. Like,
Oh.
eh. And that lasts for like an hour. But
What?
with the real stuff, it comes on in 10 minutes. There's none of that. All of a sudden,
Mm.
I could be in the middle of a conversation with you right now, look at something that's white, and it would just be all rainbows. And that's the only sign. You'd be like, oh, I guess I'm tripping.
Wow.
So clean,
That is amazing.
so pure. You could totally go through normal life on it. Like, and I have, and oh my God, I have so many stories. I drove home in a rainstorm on 4 Hits Acid once. That was brutal.
What?
Yeah. Each raindrop was full of rainbows.
So you just had rainbows just raining down on
But it
your
was
car.
brutal. But it was brutal because I'm like, don't pay attention to the rainbows. Look at the fucking road, Dave. Look at the fucking road, Dave. And I'm like, but the rainbows, they're so pretty. But no, look at the fucking road, Dave. Look at the fucking road. Oh, it was
How
brutal.
did you not get pulled over?
How did I not
And
crash?
how long of a drive was it?
All the way across San Francisco. Like
Oh
all the way across a fucking city.
my
Nailed it.
fucking God. Are you
Yeah.
fucking kidding me?
So I know time travel is possible.
Wow. I'm in
Yeah.
shock. I'm literally in shock.
I should
Wow.
have been pulled over 52 times and I should have been in 10 accidents, right?
Oh my God.
But it didn't
Well,
happen.
you live to tell the tale.
Hey,
You clearly did something right.
somewhere along the line, I guess I did something right. Yeah. Definitely have a huge band of guardian angels.
Yeah.
Still trying to figure out why.
Don't try to figure out why and just live in
Yeah, I'm
it.
good. I'm just rolling with it. Yep, they're
Yeah.
there. I know it. I hope they're still there. But I'm not testing them like I used to.
Yep. Don't question it. Alright, I need to pack it in. I'm tired.
You and I should schedule another talk. I'm going to
Yeah.
follow you right now. And
Oh, yes, let's do that as well.
yeah, do me a favor. I'm kind of scatterbrained, but yeah, shoot me a message on Instagram if you want to do a talk. I would love to.
Will
Wow,
do.
we
Will
covered so much
do.
ground. Sounds like we have a lot in common. We could go really deep.
Mm-hmm.
We could do a weekly
Literally.
show
We could. I
or
think
what
we're
else,
interesting.
whatever you want to do.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but I'm
Well,
down,
yes, yes.
and you're awesome.
Okay.
So you have a wonderful night, and thank you so much. This has been a
Oh,
blast.
thank you. I had so much fun, and I can't wait to do this again.
Yeah,
You're
me too.
awesome. And I hope the best for you and your art. And I hope you keep being a wonderful person because you deserve happiness and joy.
Thank you, my friend. Namaste.
You're
The
welcome.
light in me sees the light in you.
Awesome. Girl. All right. I'll talk to you
Have a good
later.
night.
Bye.
All right, thanks for tuning into another episode and another thing with Dave. Please follow, subscribe, and share. I'm on all social media and another thing with Dave. And keep seeking the truth.